Right now, it's time to create the get post API route so that we could view all of our posts in our backend, and then we could add it to our front end. So let's go back here and close all this and then collapse all of this like normal, and then go to the server, and then we go to the routes, and then we go to the post.route.js. Here we want to add another route, so router dot get, because this is a get one. And now over here we're going to just say get posts. So like this, you could just simply say. So basically, let's have it. So yeah, I'll just have it like this, and then for the controller, I'll say get post like this. Okay. Now the thing is, we're gonna have to, add this controller. Go over here. Now post.controller.js, and you could basically have it right here. So we have export const get post async request response and next, and there you go. Now you could basically import it like this. Control space, and then there you go. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that we don't need to verify the user, because anyone could get, the post, right? And this is going to be really flexible, this controller. So what I want to say is that we could basically pass in queries to our API, and then it could fetch it based on our queries. So first of all, let's go and put a try block, and for the error, we could just handle it through our middleware. So that's good. And now right in the try, what we want to do is, first of all, we want to see if we could collect the get post, but we will try to put a limit. Now we could actually have a start index and the stop index, or basically the start index and then the limit of how much you want, not the stop. But so let's suppose, like over here, I'm talking about where you want to start from. So basically you could have some variables defined. So first one, you could say start index, and this is going to be the request dot query. So query, and then we have start index could be like that. Okay. Now the thing is, this is going to be the start index that you basically could query to the API, or if it's not given, you could assign it to 0. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you is that we want to parse this. We want to parse this to an int. So we could just say parse int, and we could convert this to an integer like this. Okay, or then we can just have it by default 0. So this is good. Now the same thing exactly goes for the limit. So you could basically have a limit set, so like you don't want that many posts returned, but you could have like a limit set, like I only want to see 9 posts. So you could say const limit is equal to, this also has to be converted. So you could say request dot query dot limit. Okay. Or if it's not given, you could just say 9. Okay. So now after that, we want to sort direction based on like whether we want it ascending or descending, either newest or oldest, right? So we could just have it something like that, or something in between like that. So let's go and say const post start index, or maybe what's it called, sort direction. Okay. And then you could have the sort direction set to request dot query query dot order. Okay. If it's given as ascending, then you could basically set it as 1, or if it's not like descending, then -1. We could, like, this is going to be helpful for later on when you can label it like if it's 1 and then it's ascending, and if it's -1, that means descending, and we could calculate and do something accordingly later on. So right now we have the sort direction, limit, start index. These are some of our queries, remember, in the URL, and I'm going to show you how they're going to actually function. So we have const post. Now suppose you want to you want to get the post now, so you could say await. Finally, we could use now post, which is the model dot find. Now this is going to be useful, and we're trying to find it from the Mongo database. Now the thing is, we want to have to put in one specific thing here. We want to put the object, and in here we have to specify some of these queries so that actually it could work. So we have triple dots, and then we have request dot query dot user ID. If the user ID has been passed along with this API route, then you could basically filter the post only based on that specific user ID. Now that's why we are saying ampersand, and we say then you basically get the user ID. Now this is basically coming from the database. So we have request.query.user ID. Okay. like that. That's good. Same thing goes for the next one, which is category. So you could basically say, request.query.category, and then categories coming from the database. And based on the category, you say, I want to search for JavaScript posts, and then it's just going to give you all JavaScript posts. Or if I want to search only for Next.js posts, it's going to give you only Next.js posts, right? So that's categories done. Now we also want to have for the slug. Okay, so you basically search for a specific slug, it gives you the slug. So request.query.slug, and then we have add slug, and then we have slug, request.query.slug. And the same thing goes for the post ID. So you basically could search based on request.query.post ID. Now, what am I talking about post ID? Well, you basically search for one single post that has an ID of, the first ever post created. Okay, that is going to be the slug, and then it's going to return it, right? And the post ID, and then specifically a match of a single post, and then you could, grab it saying ID. Now this is important. This is how it's stored in our database. Remember, underscore ID, and we request.query.post ID. So really cool, really awesome. And then we have now the last thing is the search term. Now request.query.search term. Now want to show you that we could basically search over here where I'm going here. So you have this search, right? So suppose if I say the first, okay, if I just say the first, I want to have it searching based on not just the title of a post, but also the description or the content. You could search from both places, right? Sometimes I'm not going to be sure whether it was the title or was it in the description. So I'm just going to use this, and it's going to search both places, and it's going to give me the right result. And we're going to use regex for that, and that's provided with MongoDB. Super cool and super awesome. So what we have is search term, and then we have request. If we pass in a search term, we could just say this. We want basically two things, right? I want to search with the title, and we also want to search through the description. So we could say this. Basically, we pass in this keyword, which is $, and we have or. Okay, this for two, and then we have this tag. So right in here we have this first one, which is title, right? The title of the post. So you basically have title, and then you have regex over here, request.query.search term, and then in the options we have I. This means case insensitive. So whether it's a capital or lowercase, it's still gonna search it, right? So like I said, the first. This means if I even have like FIRST, it's gonna be case insensitive and give the right matches. Same thing goes for the content. Now the content is actually the description. And then we have regex, request.query.search term, and options I. So this is going to search both times at once. Once this or is done, we have this comma over here, and we're basically good to go here. Now we want to do the last thing, which is basically allow this sort. So because I have this sort, this sort could be created at, so we could basically have it, based on ascending order, descending order. So we could say updated at, because normally posts are more updated than created, and you could just say sort direction based on that. Okay. And then we have the skip. So over here we have the sort. The sort function is based on the updated at. It's also provided in the MongoDB. And then we have .skip. Okay, like that. And then we have skip for the start index. And then we have the last one, which is the limit that we're going to apply. And then that's the limit. So that's good. I mean, that's super cool. And this is how we're going to return our post. Super cool. But along with this, our posts or post, but along with this, we want to return some other things, like the number of posts, like the total count of how many posts you have in the database. So you could do that same thing using a variable. First create a variable, say const total posts, and then you could just use the await post dot count documents. Okay, and this is going to give you all of the posts in the Mongo database and return as total posts. You could also get the post from a previous month. So like in the current month, you made like suppose 10 posts, and in total you had like 100 posts, right? You want to return the last month's posts as well, how many you created last month. So like suppose you created 10 posts last month. So for that you could create another, first you track yourself, like what time is it right now, so new date. So you could say that this is now, right? But the thing is, if you want to calculate 1 month ago, you could say const 1 month ago, and then what you could do is you could say new date, okay? And then in here, what you could do is you pass in now dot get full year, okay? It's gonna give you the year, but for the month you just do -1. So now dot get month, and then you have -1, meaning you're getting the last month, and then now dot get date. So this is going to give you the time. And once we're done with that, you basically could now use this 1 month ago to get your query. So for your filter for the the post. So const last month posts is equal to await post dot find. Okay, now this is important. One thing I want to show you here is that we have last month post, and we have await, and then we have post dot find. Now where's this await? Well, wait, we already created that on the but over here we're finally now executing this. So we have await post dot find, and in the parentheses we're gonna have in this object, and then we're gonna pass in created at. You see this created at? This is when the post was created. And you could say, based on that, you could say, so $, greater than, okay, greater than equal. And then we have 1 month ago, and then we have less than now. You could basically do that, or you could just say like this, greater than 1 month ago, okay, greater than equal 1 month ago. So this is gonna give you last month post. Right after when you got all of that, you say response dot status 200, meaning everything was a success. Okay, dot JSON, and you could return something. You could return the posts that were returned. Now, where are these posts coming from? Well, these posts. Okay, the first post, the filtered ones, or just random. If you just don't do anything, if you don't pass in any query, it's just going to return you all the posts. Okay, and then you have the total post. So you basically return total post as well, and as well as the last month post, which is right here. Okay, so you would essentially return those as well, which is super cool. Now we have this is done, and then that's good. We have the response. We have over here in the catch the middleware call, and I believe we can now test it out. Looks good. We could use Thunder client. Over here we go into new request. Look at the previous one as well. This is just there. Let's just create a new one. So let's go here, new request. Okay. So right here we're gonna have the get HTTP localhost 3000/API/post. It's not create, but get posts. Okay. If I don't give anything, it should give me all the posts. Now you can see over here that I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so what we got here is, okay, we got 5 total posts, and then last month posts. Yeah, so the total posts we have in our database are 5. Okay, and then we have last month posts are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You guys, I created all of them. So that's why it's showing me. I created them based on that same month, so that's why they're showing me that. So that's pretty good. You could basically think of last month post as your most recent post, right? And that's why it gave you the same as the number. But as soon as this application becomes older and older, you'll have more and more posts, and then different values for that. Okay, so I also wanted to show one other thing is, suppose we go to the Thunder client and we test one more thing. So if I say question limit and then I say limit to 3. Now it's only going to give me 3 posts. So check this out. 1, 2, and 3. Oh, okay. 1 minute. Question equal to limit. Question limit is equal to, let's see, 1. Okay, so now you can see over here, still, it's not giving me total posts. I mean, oh yeah, sorry. What am I saying? It is giving me one post, and then by default, you get the total post and the last month post still at the same thing. But you got 1, and the limit 3 works as well. This works, and now remember, like the queries, like I said, search term, and then you'll basically use it over here and say something like this, and then it could be executed and it work. But exactly these queries that we wrote, we're gonna basically work these out, and they're gonna look so cool, and they're gonna work really great. So yeah, stick around for that. So yeah, so right now we're gonna be fixing this up so that it actually works, and you're gonna actually look and it's gonna have really good changes here. So let's move on to the next part, because this is not really finalized right now. So the next part here is when we created this backend API, we now want to go here and we want to have the posts. So dash posts, we want to have them filtered and displayed here, these posts that are being called from this API. So let's go to that part. So if you go to the client folder and you go to the components, which is right here in the source components, and we have dash posts right there. So over here we just have this right now. So we want to fix this up, right? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to add in a use effect, a hook, because whenever you visit this page, it's gonna have to call this API based on the user ID. Okay, so based on the user ID, all of its posts should be displayed. So how can we do that? Well, you're not basically displaying all the posts in the database, but you're only displaying the posts that this specific, this person created, the admin, or like some other person created its own post. So you could basically manage those. So what we could do, and and I wanted to add one more thing, is that who actually could view every single post could be like a super admin. So by like normal people and even the admins could only view their own posts, but a super admin, or like we could basically give that super admin role to an admin as well, and those people could actually view all posts as well. So right now we're looking at this person's user ID post. So let's go to React hook. So over here we have a return, and right here we could have this use effect hook. So use effect hook, and it's basically use effect hook. So you essentially put round brackets in here, and it normally has this. Now one other thing I wanted to say is that it can't put asynchronous, because we might want to put the API call here. Can't put async in a use effect, it would give us an error, right? Because we normally want to call an API and then we have to wait for its response, so that's why we need to make it asynchronous. But it's not going to work like that. If we put async over here, it's going to give us a big error. So the best way to do it is create the function inside of the use effect and create that asynchronous function there. So first of all, import use effect there, and then once you are in the use effect, you could call the function. So it's called fetch post. Let's say const fetch post is equal to await, and then over here, so we could have async function over here, fetch post, and then async. We could define our function here. So that's what I'm talking about. So we have async, and then we create our function. Okay. So over here we have a try and catch. Okay. So in the catch we just have a console.log error message. So console.log and then the error message, right? Error dot message like that. I mean, that's perfectly done. In the try, what do you want to do? Well, you want to call this API, right? Endpoint. So What is the API? Well, it's basically an await fetch to this backtick, and you could say slash API slash post slash get posts, okay? And then you basically put in the finally the query, the one query created, which was user ID. If you remember, in the queries that we created, one was user ID. So this one. So if the user ID is given, right, in the query, we basically search from the database, then request.query.user ID. So based on that user ID, if that matches the ID that you're currently active with, so I have to basically put a user ID here. So for that particular place, I am going to have to use import useSelector, import useSelector, okay, and that's from React Redux, and then we have to basically define it. So const user is equal to useSelector. Okay, now one thing here is that we're getting the current user, so I could call this as current user. And this common mistake that I've seen come around is that we forget to destructure it. So current user is equal to useSelector, and then we have over here state with round brackets like this. So state arrow state dot user, like that. Okay, so it's going to give you the current user, and you could say the current user's ID. Okay, so and it's going to be also in dot underscore ID if you remember that the current user stores it like that. Okay, so based on that, you basically fetch this. You have a filtered fetch for this get post API, and the result would be in the response like that. Okay, now that's good. I mean, what you want to do is you want to convert that response to JSON, and it takes some time, so you could use await. But for that, you want to have that variable stored in the data, right? You want that response to be stored in some data. So if it's good, the response is okay, you want to do something here. So what you want to do is you want to create another state here. So you could basically go in the dash post, and in here we could create a state which is going to be called user post. So we could say user post. These are going to be the posts only for the that current user that you're using and the person that's viewing this page. And it's currently right now set to an empty list, and this list will contain different objects. Okay, so if the response is okay, you could set the user posts to the data.posts that are coming, right? So that's super awesome and cool, and it's gonna essentially have all these posts that you basically had over here. See these right there? It's getting that. So that is super awesome. And now if the data.posts .length could be more than, now we'll add this later, but I'm basically thinking is if user post is this, you could just add the user post like that. And if the data.post.length is less than 9, and then you could set show more post function to false. Essentially, we're just showing 9 posts at a time. We'll use like pagination or something to have more posts displayed. But first, just display 9 because we added a limit to. Okay, that's good. I mean, we have the post being displayed, and it's going to be continuously called based on the current user's ID. So if the current user ID changes, then it's going to be recalled. I mean, it's going to be called again, invoked, this fetch post, but right now it's not getting invoked. It should be invoked here, right? So right after this, so right after that, you have this call. So you could say if the current user is an admin, okay, then you could actually view the fetch post. So this is only viewable for admins. You could actually view these posts if you're an admin. So okay. What I believe now, it should work. The only way we could see this call right now is essentially as a console.log. So we could say console.log, console.log, and then we have current user post. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, we have some issues. Spect console. First problem is reference error. Use state is not defined. I thought it defined it. Okay, so use state is not defined. Where is use state? Okay, so what we're gonna do is you're gonna define use state, control space, and enter. Next, let's see. Okay, now we have, I think everything looks good. Yeah, so right now you can see over here, this is just a random empty list. And then over here we had it populated with the post that this particular user created. And this is super awesome now. It's working because currently right now we have user post and it's fetching it from the database, and it sees that, it saw that there are 4 different posts that this particular user has created, and each post have its different ID. So these are post IDs, but the user ID are all the same based on the ID, same ID, and then you have the content and all. This is so awesome. Now we can finally display our content like that. So this is so cool. Really great progress. We could display it in this part over here. So we could have dash post. Essentially, we could use a thing called table. This is from Flowbyte, like that. Okay, and if I go here, you could basically import it like import. Let's add it here. Import table. So we have the table. So we have table from Flowbyte React. Okay. Go back here, and this is our table. Okay, so one thing I wanted to say is that this is going to be a table which is going to have cells and other things. So we have a table head. Okay, and in the table head, yeah, we have a table head cell. So this is where all of our posts are going to be populated. We're putting them in a table. This is the best way to do it. Table dot head cell. This is going to be the the title for each cell. So the first one could be date updated. Okay, then we could have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then this could be post image. This could be post title. Okay, category, delete, image with capital I, updated with capital U, and then we have table dot head cell. We have edit, but we could put edit in a span. And yeah, so cut this. Okay, so we have a table.head, and then we have table, right now, essentially it's gonna appear like this. Looks good, but there's gonna be a lot of things that we need to, think about right now. It doesn't look that great, but there has to be styling and other things that need to be incorporated. But right now you can see it looks like that. Okay. As a default, it makes them all caps. Now, one thing is we need a dependency library that we need to install for our front end so that we could actually have a scrolling feature. That when it's too much, then we could have a really cool scrolling feature within our application, not just like the browser over here. So not here, but within this, web application. So there could be like a side scroll bar. So what we do is go and search in scroll bar, scroll, SCROLL bar, and then we have Tailwind. We do this. We head over to this one, okay, and then we have this Tailwind scroll bar, okay, scroll bar plugin for Tailwind CSS. Go down here, and you could install it using this. Copy this. So installation guideline right here. Go here, and you would normally add another. So I would basically right now recommend turning it off because we have to do a little bit more configuration. So first of all, npm I install -save -dev tailwind -scroll bar. So once this completes, then we have to, add it to the plugins array of your Tailwind config. So this thing we have to add. So this thing, which is require Tailwind scroll bar in our plugins array of your Tailwind config. So go to the front end, which is the client folder. Here there's going to be a file called tailwind.config.js. Okay, so over here what you'd see is that there's a plugins. So just like how you got Flowbyte plugin, you want to get the same for this Tailwind scroll bar. Okay, now after that you could now, I hope this is done, like it's taking some time, so once it's completed we'll do the remaining. So this is so popular, and it's gonna allow us to have a really nice looking scroll bar for our table if the data becomes too populated. And you'll see the use case here. So first let's go to the head. Okay, so table head is done. So in here we have user post. So if I go to the user post, so this is actually, remember the state that we created 1 minute. So if the user post has something, so user post, okay, so if the user post has something, what we could map is map, because it's basically everything is an object. So we could say for every post we could have a round bracket, and in here we have user post dot map, and then we have post, and then we have over here what we could just specify is the table body dot body. Okay, and in here what we could say is table dot cell. Okay, and then in here we can finally now have the first thing, which is going to be the date updated. So you could just say post, or this is the best way to do it. This is going to create new date. Okay, post dot updated add. Okay, but updated add doesn't look that good, so then you have to convert it to local date string, and this is how it's going to look really nice. So let's look at here. Okay, so the reason why this is happening is because my server had shut down, and I turned it off myself because I had to install the thing. So now we have to npm run dev. And now if you go to the page, and if you go, what is it, re-optimizing dependencies, because log file has changed. Okay, now if you go here, you have invalid dates coming. Okay, so this is pretty weird. Console. So over here what we have is warning, each child in the list should have a unique key prop. Okay, I mean there's a warning here as well, but we have some invalid dates going on. So we have a over here we have post dot updated at updated at. Now it should be correct. So now you can see they're the right dates, and these are the dates that I created my post. And these right now currently doing 3, but then we had one last time on the 7th. Okay, super cool. and super amazing. Now what we want to do is we want to add more cells. So remember, this is flow by React. So it has like different kind of way to write it. So next thing is the image. So we could have the image over here. So image source, we have post.image, and the alt could be post.title. Now the thing is, we could also have a class name here. So just one second, class name. And we could specify like the image should be like width should be 20, height should be 10, object cover, so it could be displayed the whole thing, and then you have BG gray 500. You're gonna have the background of 500. Just check this out. So right now the image is not clickable. They are appearing, and they're appearing, and these are some of the default images, like when I don't give any image. Now what I want to do is when I click on this, I want to go to its dedicated post page, right, where the blog is. So for that particular thing, you could do a link right in here. So we could have a link tag, go to 2, and we could have a backtick post, and then we have $, and we have post.slug, which is like this. Okay, and this could be within this, like that. Now of course it's complaining over here. Table, the link as this, so it goes to the /post, and then would go to a $. Why am I saying $, like this? And then we have post.slug. It would basically go to the the URL. You would close this URL here. Sorry, this, like that. Now the reason why it's complaining is because this is not imported. Go over here and import it from link from React Router DOM. Okay, it's still giving an issue, and we have a link to. Okay, I believe I didn't close it properly, so it has to be closed like this. Okay. So we have link to post, and we have post slug, and then we have this link closed like that. Super awesome. Okay, and now if you go here, click on any post, it goes to try to upload another image. Remember, if that post, first admin post, if these exist, they're gonna be actually populated, and it's amazing. Now we want the post title, so we have table cell, and we have table cell. Okay, in here what we're gonna do is post title, so we can have post title, but essentially you could have the same thing, which is the link to set it to basically post, and then we have the backtick over here again, backtick $. Okay, so over here we have 2. Oh, okay, for that particular case we need like this. Okay, and now over here we have the post slug. Okay, so this thing has to be closed here like that. Okay, so we have that. We also have a class name, so say class name, and this title could have a font of medium, just for better styling. A text for a gray 500 or 900 for normal, and for dark screens you could have the text white. Okay, so now just check this out. This would look good too. So look at this. We're trying to upload another image, and if I like put it on the light mode, it still looks good. Looks good. So good. Okay, so the next part here is, after that we want the category. So I'm just putting on the side so that you could see it too. So we have table cell. So we have table cell. Close the table category and then close the table cell like that. Okay, you have the category now. This was uncategorized because there was no category for that. The last one is just a delete part. So that also, I mean, could just have like a text. So you could actually put another table cell here. And then you can have delete, and then you can have, so normally you have a button now. It has this delete feature. But normally, you could actually just have it like span, and you could give a class name for this. So you could say, suppose you want the delete, right? So you could have font medium. It's changing up. Then we have text -red -500. You'll see a change right now. Okay. Hover colon, and then we have underline. Okay, when you hover over it, it's gonna underline the text. Okay. You can have a cursor pointer. So cursor -pointer when you go over it. So that looks good. Okay. Same thing for the edit part. So let's just have it pasted here. But instead of red, we'll have it teal. Really nice color. Then we have font medium. So over here we don't have to put medium. It's not like an emphasis. So you have the delete, hover underline, cursor pointer. But you basically go to have this as edit. Okay. And then we have this link going. Essentially, it has a link too. And it would go to a specific thing. So it would be link to, and this would be backticks. And then we have slash update post. This will be adding soon. Update post, and then we have dollar. And then we have post dot what's happening here? I just randomly opened up something random. Okay, so go back here. So over here we have post dot underscore ID. So now check this out. So it says link to /update post, and we have this post ID. So we're just gonna create this URL later on. Have this closing, like that. Wait a minute. So cut this and cut from here. So right after the span tag, we have this. So now this is gonna allow us to edit the post. Click on it. You'll basically go to update post based on the ID of the post, and this will be later on created, and you'll be able to edit each post as well. This is so cool. Okay, so table cell are done, and this table body is done. Essentially all of this had to be on a table row. What I mean by table row here is that this results. So we had the body. So right after the body, we had to add in a table dot row. Okay, and you basically could have it start here, and you would like to have the last cell, and from there you could just close the table row. Okay, now we have that out of the way. We could add some cool styling to our table. Okay. Now, one more thing I wanted to address here is that when we maximize it, we want to see a scrollable thing. So right now, it's from the browser, right? We want to see something there so that it could actually look good. First, let's add some styling here. So let's just format document. Okay, that's good. Now, let's add one, cool thing in here. So if you go to the body, so we could have a class name for Tailwind. So this is all class name. And then here we could have divide -y. Okay. So that's there. Okay. If I didn't have it. Okay, so right now, you'll see the effect later on. After that, in the table row, this is something which is gonna, have a really good change here. We want the background to be white. Okay. For dark screen, we want the border gray 500 or 700. Okay. And then we want, for dark screen, we want the background gray set 800. Now it looks good. You basically have these styling done. And then we have, all of this really well done, well written, and, everything looks good. Now one last thing is this, external div, because this is right now flushed right there. So there's this external div right here. So it's better to have that div, there. So we have class name. Okay, and then we have table auto. Okay, so we have table auto. This means we have we don't have this, and then we have overflow. So we can have overflow x scroll, and we have if we have scroll x. Now you can see over here. This has to be over here. So you can see over here table auto overflow x scroll md, and then we have mx auto. Okay, auto. Oh wow, now finally we have it centered. Okay, so this is amazing. Now one other thing is we have table auto overflow x scroll, and then we have this mx auto for medium devices and higher. Padding of 3. If you look over here, we have padding of 3. So that has a good padding over there. And then later on have scroll bar. So scroll bar. Now this is the thing that we added. If I save this, now you would see. Now if we maximize the screen, actually there's no that much content. But if we actually make a lot of more, suppose this goes, further, it will have this scroll bar and it will look really nice. But right now, let me just have scroll bar dot track dot slate, and then we have 100. Okay, And then we want scroll bar. You essentially got that for there, right? So we have, this is all, for this scroll bar thing. So let me just copy this. And you should have, the scroll bar installed. Remember the npmi that we did? So that should be there. That's important. And then just paste this like that. Okay, I think that's good to go. And we have this very nicely done. Okay, so one other thing what I wanted to do was that only the admin could view these tables. So you go just put a condition here and just say like the current user. Okay, now this of course would not exist. So I mean, we have here a current user. So where's this? Is it coming? Yeah, we have it. So we have to say current user dot is admin if it's an admin. Okay. Then we got and then we have user posts have to be at least greater than 0, right? If it's not there, I mean you shouldn't want that populated. So if it's there, put all of that thing in there. If not, then just say there's no post to be shown or something. So you could just say a paragraph tag and just say you have not created any posts yet. Okay, so that is good. I mean, yeah. Now one problem here we're having is we have this round bracket. So this should be like this, and then it should close here. Okay, so that's good, but then there's more things that come along with it. Okay, so this is there, like that. That looks good, but now we have to have this table, all this table thing. Cut from here. Because this from here, that's div. Okay, so over here, we could add the JSX fragment. Okay, now that error is gone. And in here, you could just paste your table. Wow. Format document. Okay, so now I think you understand that if the user is an admin and the posts are greater than 0, then you could actually render the table and display it. If not, you could just say you have not created any posts yet, right? So essentially that is basically done. And we're really good to go now. So we made really good progress here. Now let's try to add as many posts as possible. We could add more posts through our API, or we could just go to our post profile, and then we create a post, and then we just add more posts. So let's just say random post 1. So add JavaScript. Okay, let's just add in a QR code, upload this. This is a random post created. You can see that the image does actually display. If you look in the white screen, it looks that. And then we have published, good, created 1 post. Let's go back again to the profile, and then create a post, and then say random post 2. Category could be React.js. This is our next random post. Okay. And then we could have the upload and just have a random logo. Upload this, go to the Firebase storage. Amazing. And then we just have publish. Okay, that's good. Just go back again to your profile. Go view in white mode or light mode as well. Create a post. Third post, or say third random post. Okay. And then we have choose file, basically get, like, suppose this thing, upload this, this is the third random post. Okay, now I wanted to say one thing is that we already, wait, we don't have, okay, JavaScript, and then we have publish. Okay, that's created. And then let's go one more, so profile. So right now, if you go to the post, you'll see that there's a lot of posts that's created, right? So we'll just have one more so that we can have at least 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 right now. So let's create more. So go to profile, create a post, 4th random post, and 5th. 4th random post. Then we have another random post created for you guys. I don't know. Choose file, and then we have Redux persist, and then we have upload image, publish. Let's go to the next one, which is profile, create a post, 5th random post. Okay, and then we have over here JavaScript again. Add a, one more image, maybe like this. Upload this. This is yet another random post. Okay, so we have this published. Okay, so now these are all good to go. We could now see our post here. So go to the profile, go to the post, and you can see nice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I believe it's like 10. I mean, I should be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 9 exactly. Dark mode on, and look how awesome that looks. Now, one other thing I wanted to say is that you could also, view the count from, your API call that you created. So, that API call. So basically, send that without a search term. So scroll all the way to the bottom. So you would have here, sorry, right here. So we have total posts are 10. And essentially that post was part of someone else's post, not this one. So that's why these are 9 for this person. And then the 10th post was basically some other post created by another user. But yeah, we're good to go for this part here. And now we're going to continue to the next part of this web application.